All right. Finally doing it. A day and many hours later. It's time for Locked into Lunacy with me, Pickle Rick, aka the Juggler. What's up, loads and lets, kings and queens, friends and fiends? How you doing out there tonight? Hell yeah. Let's talk about Lunacy number 80. Where we drink our fresh ass firework Fago. Just came in for the summer at my local Dollar Tree. It's a tasty beverage. Shout out to anybody that's seen my advertisement on House of Grim podcast this past Thursday on their live stream for Lunacy. Sorry I had to hack the stream, Grim, but thanks for the shout out. If you guys don't know, House of Grim podcast, they're an awesome indie wrestling podcast. They've interviewed tons of JCW wrestlers. They also do Raw live streams and JCW Lunacy live streams. Go check them out. But let's get into Lunacy 80. So we start off the night with Violent J and Russo arguing about what happened with EC3 at Stranglemania. So if you didn't know, at Stranglemania, there was a fatal four-way match, elimination match for the JCW World title. Caleb Conley, Nick Nemeth, Matt Riddle, and Cocaine all in that match. Now, Caleb Conley, first he pinned Matt Riddle, then he pinned Nick Nemeth. And he was about to pin Cocaine, but the guest referee, EC3, who is Jeeves' new boy, of course, screwed over Caleb like we all predicted would happen. At least I did. It was one of my very few predictions that actually came through that night. And because of this, Russo and EC3 had beef. And of course, Russo's arguing with Violent J now this week because Violent J was the guy who brung EC3 on. Apparently, Russo and EC3 do a podcast together. I was not aware of this, but I know Russo is into many, many podcasts. So I haven't seen the one where he does it with EC3, but that'd be interesting to look up. But apparently now there's kayfabe beef between Russo and EC3, of course, because of his whole rivalry with Caleb Conley that's starting, and it's all part of Jeeves' revenge kind of thing. Russo says he doesn't trust wrestlers. Violent J is like, what does that mean, you don't trust wrestlers? What does that even mean? Russo says they only care about themselves, basically. They're only out for themselves, and their own careers kind of thing. Much like politicians, kind of. But we're not here to get political. Jay says, I only care about ratings, Vince. So, Violent J only cares about the ratings. Hey, thanks for the likes. How am I? I'm doing great. It's good to finally be able to do this JCW review. Be here chilling with all you guys. All right, we got Kid Cadet announces Jeeves to the ring as the one percenter of manservants. And, of course, then Jeeves announces EC3. Jeeves talks smack about Caleb Conley and calls him Vince Russo's little bitch. And nothing but a shit stain on pro wrestling. And Russo comes out and says that he thought that he and EC3 were boys. He thought that him and EC3 were good like that. And he might be able to play Violent J, but he can't play me, says Vince Russo. He says to EC3, I brought you onto my podcast. I paid you handsomely. I gave you the Russo rub, and this is how you betray me? And EC3 says, it's all the pro wrestling game. The office works the boys work the office, the fans work the boys in the office, the boys in the office, they work the fans, you know. Gives us his whole spiel, and he's about to explain how he's ahead of the game, uh, and all this. And then Caleb Conley shuts him down. He's like, "Shut the fuck up! Everyone knows the reason you left every other wrestling company was because you're a cancer in the locker room." And asked him if Limp Bizkit started a wrestling company, would he join just to leech off another 90s nostalgia act? That's pretty harsh words coming from Caleb Conley. Of course, then EC3 says, "Who are you?" to Caleb Conley, implying that he's not quite as big as Caleb Conley. And then a fight breaks out between the two of them. And Russo gets a shot in at Jeeves. And then they leave up the ramp. Tonight in this JCW number 80, we have the debut of the Green Phantom. Also, Father Bronson, sorry. They finally make their debut. Also, there's a guitar on a pole match for the JCW title. Cocaine and Stephen Flo. Also, there's a street fight between Vito and PCO. Mac Davis interviews Al outside the building. She says she's waiting for Danny Moe. She wants answers about their tag match at Stranglemania. Yeah, it was an interesting opportunist kind of tag match, you know. The tag match was for her women's single title. There's not a JCW women's tag title. If we ever get more women's wrestlers, a bigger women's division in JCW, I would like to see a women's tag championship. I know in the big companies, especially WWE, like half their titles are women's titles now. So women are coming up in professional wrestling. It's not just one title per promotion is the norm anymore. But we don't quite have that roster size in JCW quite yet. But I know Jay's hoping that, you know, eventually JCW starts making money. He said on a past post show a couple weeks ago that JCW right now is just kind of losing money. You know, they have very high production on Lunacy, as well as they're giving out all the free shows and stuff like that. So it's nice to be able to support them. If you guys can go to Triller TV and support JCW, if you haven't seen Stranglemania, that'd be a good thing to do. Also, buy merch over at psychopathicvault.com. Yeah, just whatever you can do to support JCW. Go to the shows, do live streams and talk about them, videos, stuff to talk about that, anything to get the word out about JCW. That's what we're trying to do here. It's a community we're trying to be a part of and help build. Yeah. Where was I? Why was I talking about that though? In this part, besides the obvious. Oh, because I was talking about the wanting the women's tag division to grow. But anyway, so the tag team match, yeah, right, was a tag team match for the women's title. Danny Moe, technically, who is Big Al's partner, could have won the title if she would have pinned the opponent. So it didn't work out at all in Big Al's favor, no matter which way it went. It was always a handicap. And Danny Moe was the one who agreed to the match for Big Al, you know. So I feel like there doesn't need to be much more answers about it other than that, you know. It's pretty self-explanatory, but she's going to wait for her outside the building and wait for answers. And then Caleb Conley is venting backstage to Vince Russo, saying that that's your boy, huh? I was so close to being champion. Russo reminds him that Caleb beat Nemeth and Riddle in under 5 minutes. And tonight it's gonna be EC3 and versus Kerry Morton with Caleb Conley as the guest ref. So a chance to screw EC3 basically. Or, Kerry Morton, which they've also had their rivalry with in these past lunacies. So there's that. Vito has some new goon. Oh yeah, there's like this new bodyguard type guy that just shows up in this one promo, and then we don't see him for the rest of the night, I believe. And Vito's also talking about his new nephew that's going to debut tonight. And he says that he needs this new guy to keep an eye out for the Bros of Funstruction, and his nephew's coming. That's basically it for that part of the promo. And then we have the Green Phantom making his debut against Facade. Facade beats him in literal seconds. After Green Phantom goes on a little spiel about how he's going to bring justice to JCW and get rid of all the underhand tactics and all the cheaters and all that. Well, he gets beaten in seconds. It sucks. But you know something? I expected that to happen. Not quite in seconds like that, but I definitely felt jobber energy with the Green Phantom gimmick. I looked this guy up. Apparently, he's like really well known for hardcore wrestling and promotions like Combat Zone Wrestling and in Game Changer Wrestling. However, everything about the Green Phantom gimmick screams to me jobber energy. Not sure if that was his gimmick in those places as well, but it just reminds me of the Hurricane a lot, and he was a great jobber. The Brothers of Funstruction are back, and they're as the Brothers of Gasson, whatever. They're back as their mobster. They're back as their Italian gangster gimmicks, which I really like. Really like that a lot. It really shows off their abilities to be actors and show off a different character than we're used to. I definitely like Joey 2 times and Danny the Drill, just good stuff. And I was super sad the last time we saw it for the first time, and then right away they go back to being the clowns. So I'm glad to see this again. Hopefully we'll get to see more of that in the future. Maybe, when they're more happy, they'll be the clowns, and then when it's time to get serious, they'll take off the paint, and then they're back to being gangsters again. They're talking about getting revenge on Vito for kidnapping his brother Ruffo, Johnny 2-time, and Too Tough Tony and Willie Mack says they got their backs tonight. Also, Jay Russo and Green Phantom are talking backstage about how bad the debut was. How bad Green Phantom's debut was. Russo says he's one loss away from working for the NWA, so shots fired there. Billy Corgan in the NWA. I tried to watch one episode of the NWA and I couldn't get into it. It was too much wrestling and not enough story for me. I like the characters in JCW. And then we also have promotions that I've watched, like Memphis Wrestling, where they have a little bit more storyline, but they have phenomenal wrestling, and it got me into it, and I think I'm slowly becoming more and more of a Memphis wrestling fan, as well as I also saw some this week of AAA. They now have an English announced team of JBL, Corey Graves, and Rey Mysterio, and subtitles for the Spanish parts. So, and that's on YouTube as well, each and every week. So, yeah, we're starting to get spoiled with YouTube wrestling, AAA, and Memphis wrestling, as well as JCW Lunacy. I want to see more wrestling promotions on YouTube. I'm not going to be able to follow them all, but it'd be nice for the casual wrestling fan to have those options and not have to have a super subscription to Netflix or ESPN Plus or whatever the frick they're trying to charge wrestling fans. Stupid nowadays. Remember when wrestling was just on basic cable, guys? Remember that, the good old days? We get a video package of the rivalry between Stephen Flo and Cocaine, because we're getting ready for that. Because next is the guitar on a pole match. It's pretty good back and forth, I would say. We get Stephen Flo getting a hold of that guitar. And then Cocaine doing a big coke slam to Stephen Flo onto the guitar and pinning him for the 1-2-3, retaining his title. No sign of the Ring Rat this time, as we saw last week on Stranglemania. The Ring Rat has betrayed Disco Ray, who was also absent this week, and is now with Stephen Flo. So we'll see those two together in the future. But in the crowd was Cocaine's new possible love interest, Hocane. She seemed to be a super fan, kind of like the way the Ring Rat was first introduced and stuff like that. She didn't get in the ring, but she did accept a brick of cocaine from Cocaine. So, very interesting stuff. I'd like to see a future rivalry between Hocane and the Ring Rat. I think that would be awesome. Let me know what you guys think of Hocane down in the comments or in the chat. Then we got Mac Davis interviews Kerry Morton backstage, and Kerry says that Russo always sets him up for failure, but Kerry hits a home run every time, and they just don't make him like him anymore. Kerry's also always so great at those promos, so charismatic. I love Kerry Morton, man. I know he's supposed to be a bad guy, but damn it, he's got a special place in my heart, man. He's freaking awesome at what he does. Also winning that impressive match against Nicky Knuckles at Stranglemania. I did not think he would win that. Big Al is still looking for Danny Moe, so we're checking up on Big Al every now and then. So we'll check up on her again, at least one more time in this show. And then we got Mac interviewing Big Vito about his nephew. He says he's going to be here tonight. And then they get interrupted by Luigi Primo. And Luigi saying he's got something for the Brothers of Fun Structure tonight. And Vito's just like, where's my pizza, man? He never gets his pizza from Vito. Or from Luigi. Luigi's another great character in JCW. JCW Lunacy, guys. Full of great characters. Backstage, we also have Barnabas trying to keep the outbreak clean. He says they've been clean for a couple weeks. And he goes to get them a bottle of water. And they pull out some Oxycontins, some Oxys. And he's like, who gave you this? What is going on? So we just have drug problems on drug problems with the outbreak. So hope I'm not going to get in trouble for saying any of this on YouTube Live. TikTok, this would already been stricken for all the drug references. But Luigi versus Father Bronson happens, and we knew Luigi was gonna lose this match. I mean, because he's the obvious silly jobber, and Father Bronson's obviously the new scary guy coming into this. He did great, by the way, with his character and everything as Father Bronson. Luigi, though, really, it was a really good back and forth match. This match was very exciting. There was a couple of times where they gave us just enough of this match so that we would be rooting for Luigi the entire time. And so, and the crowd was chanting, "Pizza, pizza, pizza." That's the first time I ever heard a pizza chant in pro wrestling. It was great. I love the energy of this crowd. It's one of the JCW crowd is always so fantastic because it's just juggalos showing love to. They're also there for an ICP concert, so it's extra exciting. Usually JCW is before an ICP concert, so. And then we got the Brothers of Construction warning Vito that payback is coming when he least expects it, and so they're there as their gangster gimmicks, and they're there with Willie Mack and Too Tough Tony, and they're all like, "It's coming when you least expect it, man. You can go now," and they let him go through a door. And Al finally sees Danny Moe trying to enter the building. She wants answers. Danny Moe doesn't give it to her. So Big Al punches her in the face, knocks her right down, and says, "Are you fucking with me? I want answers. You better have them." So she walks away for now, but I don't think this is over. Al wants those answers. Those obvious answers that obviously she wanted a title opportunity, and she'll do anything to get it because she's a wrestler on the women's division. What other answers could there be? Maybe they'll make up some answers. I don't know. Al wants answers. Yeah, I just read that. The bros are talking backstage. Oh, and then Vito comes up with the horse head, and it's a little like a hobby horse kind of deal. And they're like, Godfather reference, hilarious. By the way, Luigi, stay away from Vito. He's trouble. They just kind of brush Luigi off like he's kind of cute because he's kind of innocent and doesn't really know what he's doing, right? Then we get Vito and PCO in that street fight, and as it begins, we get the Brothers of Construction, the Brothers of Gulcone or whatever they are this week, and they come out with Too Tough Tony and Willie Mack, and they attack Big Vito, and they just beat him down, and then PCO pins him, and it's all legal because it's a street fight, and that's the end of that. And then we got the commentators point out that you can watch Stranglemania on Triller TV Plus. If you haven't seen it, you have a couple options. But first I'm going to tell you about the supporting JCW option. You can go watch Stranglemania if you subscribe to Triller Plus, and you can pay $8 a month, and it's a great service. If you love professional wrestling and can't get enough, you also get all access to everything GCW and a bunch of other indie wrestling stuff. It's really worth the price if you're going to really absorb everything in the world of independent wrestling. But as we know, and I was kind of disappointed by, you can also watch Stranglemania just as last week's Lunacy because they just decided to show it for free after everybody that supported it showed it love. They just decided to give it away for free, which it's very noble, very juggalo, but also kind of disappointing to us people that actually came out and supported it and didn't have anything but, yeah, we supported JCW. Yeah, pat ourselves on the back. Woo. It would have been nice to have that be exclusive to us, but what can we do? Um, I understand that it takes time from doing the shows to be able to record it, and of course, JCW Stranglemania was live, so they needed at least 1 week to film another episode and then package it together to make it a Lunacy and then bring it up. Anyway, we had a blast from the past. It was Weedman and tagging with the Blunt Boy or whatever, or Bobby Bong was his name or something. Now, I remember one of my very first live JCW reviews was I was on TikTok and I was talking with my guy, Headlock Entertainment, who of course is Juggalo 984 over there, and he was like, "Do you remember the Weed Man?" And I was like, "Nah, I don't remember the Weed Man. I'm back in the Slam TV days." I guess I do. When I thought about it a little bit, just got a notification. GCW One Night something. It's coming out on Triller TV. Still getting those notifications. But anyway, yeah. It was a simpler time in JCW when it was more of a joke promotion. Weed Man was a weed smoking masked wrestler. Don't really care. I guess he won the match. This is what I mean about the blast from the past. They haven't been that good for a while. You would think in Blast from the Past they would want to show like classic, great JCW matches, but they're just kind of showing just random shit that we don't care about. Like show like your stuff where like famous people, like, you know, they have done that in the past where they've shown like their matches that have taken place on JCW that had Booker T and they had the Hardys and, you know, other famous people in them. Only show me that shit. Don't show me Weed Man one off. Like, unless he's coming back or something, who gives a shit? Like, let's get on with the program. Like, they just have it just to have it, and I feel like they just pull random matches out of the archive out of a hat at this point. Vito attacks Mac Davis backstage, and because he's pissed, and he says that his nephew will be there next week. Apparently, he got stuck in customs or something like that. So, we look forward to seeing his nephew coming next week. It was obviously supposed to be here this week, but didn't end up happening. I understand that. This episode was supposed to take place last night, and then it was supposed to take place 2 hours ago, and none of that ever happened. So definitely understand life stuff getting in the way of recording your show. And then we had the main event, EC3 versus Kerry Morton, with Caleb Conley as the ref. It's a pretty good match up until the point where they both just attacked Caleb Conley, and then there was no referee. And then Jeeves comes out and helps EC3 get the pin, but it wasn't an official victory since there was no official. And then we get what looks like the Green Phantom's going to come out and attack Caleb Conley and try to get some justice, but it's not the Green Phantom. Bum, bum, bum. It is none other than Matt Cross. And when I saw this, I was like, has Matt Cross been the freaking Green Phantom this whole time? But no, it's another guy. I don't remember his name right now, but I looked it up. He's not the Green Phantom, but Matt Cross is back. Woo! Matt Cross is always coming out of the crowd disguised as something and attacking somebody. That's Matt Cross's deal, I guess. So that was episode 80 of JCW Lunacy. I actually liked it, man. It was full of surprises. I'm super glad that we finally got the debut of Green Phantom and Father Brunson. Feels like we were seeing those promos forever about them coming. Very glad they came. That they're finally here. It felt kind of empty roster wise. We didn't have the Monster Corporation, any of those guys this time. I know they're getting ready to split up into singles runs. We didn't have Disco Ray. It felt kind of empty. But other than that, all the matches seemed great for the matches that there was. I think there was only like 3 or 4 matches, and most of it was all like storyline stuff. But I don't mind that, because JCW Lunacy has always been more of a TV show than a wrestling show. It's more of a TV show that has wrestling in it. Um, but I would love to see Cocaine face some more competition coming up. You got EC3 rising in the ranks. Caleb Conley. Great roster of guys. Could be a little bit bigger. Waiting for James Storm to come back and some other people. But yeah, man, let me know what you guys thought of JCW Lunacy. A couple things that I think would be cool is the rivalry between Cocaine and the Ring Rat. That's got to happen. I also was thinking about like what can Father Branson do? Will he get like his own like Wyatt family? I think that would be cool. I think it would be cool if like maybe eventually um he gets with Mr. Happy. I think Mr. Happy would be a good like follower of Father Bronson. I think that would be interesting. Who knows? I don't write. I'm not Vince Russo. I don't make the rules. But hell yeah. Thank you guys for all the likes and the coming out. And the patience if you've been following along with my posts. If you do see my posts, could you like or comment them so I know you're watching? Um, Thank you guys so much out there, and whoop whoop. Have a great night. Peace.